You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Welcome back, all our viewers across Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean. Welcome to episode 5, season 2 of Book Club Corner. And we're back. I feel like we should have confetti, we should have, a band. I'm so excited to be back to be able to share with you the authors that shape the literature scene of Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean. Thank you for still rocking with us, for being here. And if you know anyone who would be interested in talking about books, hearing about books, one, you can have them call or message me, bookclubcornertt@gmail.com, or they can call me at 1-868-760-8790. That's Book Club Corner. Whether they want to be an author to come share their work, or whether they want to sponsor something, let me know, right? So today is World Environment Day, and we have an amazing author lined up for you today. We have Alisa Gomez. Welcome, Alisa.
Thank you, Jewel, for having me. I feel very excited sitting in this chair, in this Oprah style.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Oprah is so special. So, we're so happy to have you, first author, back in a while, right? Mm-hmm. We're back to Book Club Corner in a while, and you're the first author who is taking this seat. So this is a special moment for me. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for inviting me, because I knew I was coming over to Tobago, and you extended the offer, and I said yes, most definitely.
Yeah, and coincidentally, guys, this is World Environment Day, and Alisa is not just a published author, but she is the former education officer at the EMA. So you're going to be giving us some real tea about in World Environment Day, about your books, which have an environment spin-off, talking from an animal point of view for children.
Yes.
And we love that. So many themes to discuss in that book. Children's books are not just for children, eh?
Agreed.
They have plenty things for big people too. So if you are a reader and you say, no, that's for children. No, this book is for everybody. So Alisa, tell us, from your point of view as a former education officer with the Environmental Management Authority, today, World Environment Day, what does that and what should it mean to us as a community, a Caribbean community, in terms of not just celebrating one day, but making the environment an important theme in our lives?
Well, the 5th of June is an important reminder for all of us of the importance of the environment. So it's good to have that day, and it is special locally. I know that the EMA is celebrating today. It is their anniversary, and they have activities taking place in Tobago today. So we are glad to celebrate with them, yes. But we also recognize that this is for everybody, that the environment belongs to all of us, and we all have our role to play. So I am glad that I am able, through my books, to continue spreading a message about the environment and the importance of wildlife, of our animals, taking care of our animals. But of course, that is just one part of the environmental message and the role that we can all play. Because I think from children to adults, there's something that we probably can do better, and that we recognize that we already do. So I think about my niece, for example, and she can sometimes litter. So it starts with something as simple as that. If we can just get the young ones to remember that they can all play a role in terms of managing and protecting our environment.
What you said is so key. It starts from something as simple as not littering. That's where you can start. If you're asking yourself, you're home and how can I participate, in this climate change conversation? Don't litter. That would be a good start, right? And I remember, from childhood, Chase Charlie away. I don't know if you all remember.
Yes,
right?
He's actually back now. Swimcall uses him still.
Y'all, Charlie is still out there. Don't let Charlie come for y'all. Make sure you pick up litter when you see it. After lunch every day at primary school, they used to make us sing that song, Chase Charlie, and pick up all the litter, right? They used to make us clean up the school. They had makeshift janitors. That was us. But for World Environmental Day, we're so happy that we're able to chat with you, an author who has 3 children's books that have an environmental spin on things. But before we get into that, you know how we do it on Book Club Corner. We love to have a little drink. And today, we are going to be sipping on cane juice. If you never had it, let me tell you, you need to get some of this cane juice in your life, right? There's no 5 S's of cane juice. Like we do with wine, right? There's just the drinking of the cane juice. And let me tell you, I had a little sip, right? Because I was so anxious. It's sweet. Alisa, oh my God, have you ever had cane juice before?
My son loves it. He has it every Saturday.
Oh my God, I've never had it. So here we go, guys. Y'all, this is addictive. This is very addictive. Just now.
And the guy that we get it from at the market that we go to, he always touts the nutritional value of it.
Tell me more.
Well, I couldn't say it the way he does, but it's not just drinking sugar, right? Like if you're having sugar in a juice and so on, it's not necessarily processed. It's just squeezed straight from the sugar cane.
Yeah, so and this is the sugar that your body can break down very, very easily, and this is store in your body as fats. So, well, I shouldn't even be asking you. We don't give out dietary advice, right? So I don't know if the diabetics could drink this. But listen, this is very refreshing. We'll have some more cane juice a little later. But we're going to go to a break quickly. And when we come back from the break, we are going to be chatting with Alisa about her authorship journey. So stay with us, come back with us, give us 2 minutes, let's pay some bills, and we'll be back with you talking with Alisa Gomez, 3-time published author.
Tobago, the date has been set. Saturday, June 22nd, we head to the Jade Monkey once again for the launch of their 2024 Jufi and Mass Band presentation for Tobago Carnival. On Saturday, June 22nd, we gather at the Jade Monkey to get a glimpse of the Jade Monkey Mass presentation for 2024, the Tobago Festival, and also the launch of the Jade Monkey Jufi, Monkey See, Monkey Do.
I come from the Twin Island.
Get ready for another year of Tobago Carnival with the best band in Tobago, Jade Monkey Mass and the Jade Monkey Jufi. So come out on June 22nd as we launch Monkey See, Monkey Do Jufi, and for Tobago Mass, the Tobago Festival's presentation, brought to you by the Jade Monkey. This one powered by Caravan, Digicel, and Next 99.1 FM, a member of the TTT Limited Media Network. Jade Monkey.
Go down in the center, go down.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
I can't live without you, I can't be without you for too long. Cause when I'm around you, I feel like the heavens is coming down. I feel it in my soul every time we on the road, it's a miracle. A million strong come together.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
And we're back for Book Club Corner every Wednesday right here on Tobago Updates. And today we're chatting with Alisa Gomez. Today's World Environment Day, and she's a 3-time children's author. Alisa, this book cover, I am in love. One Night by Moonlight. That book cover that you have for One Night by Moonlight. Could we see that book cover, guys? Could you put up that book cover for me? One Night by Moonlight. While they're getting the book cover ready, when I saw this book cover, it's just something that makes you want to open this book, want to touch it. I know that we do digital ebooks. You know, ebooks are all the craze now, but this cover. And we do have the cover. Could you all put up the cover, One Night by Moonlight? Thanks, guys. Right? This cover is so amazing. You have to tell us, who did this illustration for you?
It was my illustrator, Saira Riaz. She would have helped me recreate this book because it wasn't the first set of illustrations that I had done for this book.
Right.
I had actually hired someone before, and it was coming along, but at the same time, when I saw the final drawings, and I actually had to pull the story from him to get it done because it was taking really long. And then I would have hired her through an online channel, Upwork.com, where you can get a lot of creative talent. So she would have seen the work and she's like, yes, I could put it into a book for you, put the illustrations together. And she's like, how you feel about these illustrations? And I said, I think they're okay. And she gave it a low score. And I had to look at it critically and agree with her at the end of the day that it was not right for the age group that I intended it for, because it's for young children. And it was a little scary. And when I think back, I had hired my original illustrator based on some work he would have done before. But it was for an older age group. It was more like a graphic novel, a comic sort of thing, but it didn't work for that age group. So
What age group is this we're talking about?
It's for 0 to 6 years old is what I would say.
Yeah. This is so pretty. And, well, you all know, I don't just talk that I love books, right? I really do love books. So when I saw it, I said, I have to touch. Where could I get this book? The cover, it looks smooth. It looks like you want to touch it, you want to run it, and I love that, you know, children, listen, I love kids, right? But I know children, their hands always dirty, right? And you could just take something and wipe the cover of this book if anything was to get on it, and that's what I love about this. What are the two animals on the front? So what is this animal?
That is the Tyra, which is the wild dog of the forest, and the other is the ocelot.
So we have a wild dog in our Trinidad and Tobago forest?
Yes.
When you say wild dog, you ain't talking about nobody potong that away.
No, not a potong. This is an actual creature that has a scientific name, that is not the common dog that is found. It's the wild dog. It's found in the forest. And it tends to actually come out more in the daytime.
Right.
But the ocelot is more nocturnal.
Yes.
So, but they meet for a nighttime adventure.
So how are they friends? One is Mr. Daytime, one is Mr. Nighttime.
Well, sometimes the creatures would come out at different times.
Yes.
Because I remember seeing an ocelot from my home once. And it was in the daytime, but they more come out at night.
Yes, because they have the good eyesight, right?
Yeah.
They can see at night. Yeah. Don't play with them.
Well, you know, cats generally see well at night.
Don't play with them. Listen, guys, this book is so beautiful. Tell me why you decided to become, what was your impetus to become a published author?
I felt like I had a story to tell, and I got into children's literature, just reading to my son. When he was born, I started reading stories to him. From the time he was a baby, so he couldn't move. He was a captive audience, 3 months lying down on the bed. So I read him books that I would have kept, that I treasured, and I wanted to pass on. So it was stuff like Heidi and The Secret Garden and stuff like that. And just from reading a lot of books, I felt like I kind of understood what what kind of stories children wanted to listen to. And I felt that there was a little gap in terms of what was available and just telling a story that children can relate to, because a lot of the stories they read about would be about animals that are not necessarily found in our environment. So sometimes he would tell me a story. In addition to the stories that I would read to him, he'd be telling me a story. So this was one of the stories that I created for him. And actually in the original version, it was only the ocelot.
Oh, really?
But when I actually decided to create it as a story for children, I said he needs a friend.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, everything is better with friends, right?
Yes.
And company. And listen, we love a good company here at Book Club Corner. So when I saw these two together, they look so cute. Y'all, I mean, come on.
And there is something about this cover that just draws people in. So I think my illustrator did a great job in terms of capturing that cute ocelot face and just making it appealing to a child and even bringing the nighttime, just making it lively, because you know nighttime can be a little dark and so on.
Scary, right?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't that child. I love the dark. I love the nighttime. The scary. And I used to do my mother the same thing. Mommy, oh God, tell us a story, because we'd never get children's story that was scary enough for me. Right? I used to love the Ladja Bless and Papa Bo and the scary stuff and you know, the Dwen and stuff. I wanted the darks, and nobody writes dark stuff for children.
No.
So she'd tell me about, you know, the Ladja Bless, and there was a story about Tijan and how he ate something. Yeah, we won't get into that, but that was a good one, Miss Princess Green. And you know, I love that one. But tell me a little bit, before we go to break, tell me a little bit about this particular story, because the book I read was that amazing Capybara. And we're going to get into that, right? But this story, for me, it was a story of friendship, right? A story about friendship, and an unusual friendship. Somebody who is nocturnal, and somebody who comes out a day. So you had these two friends who were not, shouldn't really be friends. I mean, a wild dog and a cat, you said, eh?
Wild Dog and the Wild Cat of the Forest.
Yeah.
And it was really intended as a bedtime story.
Yeah.
So my stories are all intended for parents to sit down with their children and read it to them. So the language is kind of a mix of, might have some bigger words inside there, and is really for the child and the parent to sit together and bond. Because I do that every night with my son.
I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all in TV land watching, we're going on a quick break. We're going to be back to chat with this author about her authorship journey, publishing, why publish and be self-published. It's not as easy as it looks, but she's going to break it down for us. So we'll be back in a few minutes.
Hey, assemblers. I am Kimura Reed, your presiding officer for the first ever primary plenary debate to be done nationally under the People's House. Join us at 10 a.m. on Thursday, June the 6th, 2024 at the Assembly Chamber as 18 primary schools from the east, west, and north of the island will engage in a thought-provoking debate on the impacts and effects of the SEA examination as members of the THA.
My name is Lester Paul, and the reason why they should keep the SEA exam is because it's a standardized test, and the three most important things you need to know is maths, language arts, and creative writing.
My name is Stando George, and I believe that they should ban SEA because of the physical and mental stress that it gives to the students.
Come to the public gallery or tune in live to our Facebook and YouTube links. We've got it locked, loaded, and ready to go. Thursday, June the 6th at 10 a.m. This is certainly one for the books.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special. Wings Friday, 3 pounds wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT. Soup Saturday, 2 pounds cube beef, 2 pounds cow heel, 2 pounds chicken foot, 2 pounds pigtail, or smoke bone. Special $150. Super Sunday, 3 pounds leg and thigh chicken, 3 pounds sliced pork, 3 pounds lamb slice, 3 pounds cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
No place like home, home, home.
Oh, I love Tobago, baby.
When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon don't sleeping. Tell them we not leaving till the last drop of bacchanal. It's madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. Live with all my friends and them. No place like home, home, home.
Welcome back, bibliophiles out there. We are talking to Alisa Gomez, 3-time children's book author, and we're talking to her right now about publishing. Alisa, talk to us about your publishing and your authorship journey. That first step into becoming a published author. You know, you wrote your story, you got it edited, you got the cover done, and now it was time to press publish. What did that look like for you?
Well, I think that there are so many avenues available now where it makes it easier for people to do this themselves. Because I couldn't find a publisher locally. I would have tested the market a little bit, and there didn't really seem to be resources available for someone who had a children's book, a picture book, to publish traditionally. And I actually went to Amazon.
Right.
So Amazon.com supports authors in the sense that you can upload your book and you can also print it. So I had the book printed, and I must also say that I got some support from Metropolitan book suppliers. I would have visited them in terms of, you know, how can I get my book out there, and he would have said that, well, you know, Christmas is coming up. At that point in time, you want to at least have some copies, and you can print, because I was thinking I would have printed, I would have gone to a local printer and printed maybe 1,000. And he's like, but you're going to end up with a lot of books. You'll end up with boxes of books, and how long will they take to sell, that sort of thing. So maybe you could print a smaller amount off of Amazon. So I went that route. I uploaded my book and so on, and I've been using that ever since. Just because at the end of the day, it is the option that works for me. Is affordable as far as these things go. I can print small quantities. If I were able to print a large quantity, that 1,000 copies, then it would make sense to do it locally, because the price point would be cheaper than printing off of Amazon. But right now, for me, printing small quantities, even though Amazon increased its printing cost recently, it still works out cheaper for me to print off of Amazon. And then there's also the quality of the print, because it's a small book. It's about, that one is 24 pages. My other books are 32 pages. So locally, you can only print and publish that with the staple bind.
Yes.
But with Amazon, they print it is like a perfect bind, which is a really solid book that would stand the test of time. And I would have approached a local printer when Amazon increased the price, and I said, you know, can you all do this? And they're like, well, we can do it staple bound. And I'm like, but it's not as hardy. And they disagreed with me, but I mean, I have a lot of books for my son, and I recognize that staple bound is not the stronger thing if it is you want a book that you're going to keep in the long term.
I have to agree with you. You know, publishers out there, I would put my 2 cents in with Alicia through it, right? Could we get the option to be able to publish a book that is not voluminous? It's a small book, right? We can see small, lightweight, easy to carry, right? For a child to pick up and walk with it. So it's not, you know, it's not like those Aesop Fables hardcover. You remember those from a long time? A big book and your parents had to go and get it because they're so small you can't really hold it. This is a really cute light book that a child can pick up. And so publishers, we need to be able to get this, you see this kind of binding that isn't stapled. And for those out there who may not know what we're talking about, picture a copybook, right? And your copybook is stapled down the middle, and you could just pull out those pages because we used to pull them out, right? Those are not ideal for publishing a book, right? So what she's saying, what Alyssa is saying is that Alyssa is saying that she was not able to get this type of binding. They were going to put a staple here, a staple there, a staple there, right? We want this type of binding, this all in one. So you can't even get to the back of the book to pull out these pages. And trust me, when children have these things by themselves, I know some curious little, you cannot give them those staple bound books and expect that to last. So I like that you're bringing that up. In terms of the cost, let's for 1 minute talk about that cost of clearing it in customs. When we talk about local publishing, we are going to escape that customs price of having to clear things because we're publishing right here. But when we have, you know, small authors, when I say small authors, I don't mean you're minuscule in size, right? But I mean that you're only doing small batches and you haven't probably gotten to the point of selling 1,000 books. Right? Where are you going to get books at a reasonable, a publisher to print it at a reasonable price so that you can offer the public, the reader, at a competitive price right here in the market? And if you're saying, you know, it's cheaper to bring it in, clear it through customs, pay that, and still cheaper than publishing a small batch here in Trinidad and Tobago, that is worrying.
Yeah, I would have run the figures, and even as I said, Amazon increased the unit printing cost recently, and I looked at it again, and by the time you add duty, VAT, shipping, and you bring it into the country, it still worked out cheaper for me. At this point in time.
No, we need to have a conversation with the powers that be about removing that customs price altogether, right? I know it was supposed to give the local market an advantage. It hasn't. Okay? Just the authorities out there, it hasn't done what you all thought it was going to do. Yes, you're collecting a revenue, but it isn't making the publishing process cheaper. Not for authors. So keep it in mind when you're doing your budgets, you know, Minister of Finance, Secretary of Finance, just keep in mind that authors have to pay a customs duties to get their books inside the country, right? I want to ask you, in terms of your marketing process, right? When did you start your marketing process, and what avenues did you use? What channels did you use? You know, did you stand on the street corner with a sign, you know, books for sale, books for sale? You know, I'm kidding. But what did you do in terms of getting your book to the reader, in the hands of readers?
Well, I have to admit that is a continuous process in terms of figuring out the marketing, because I tell everybody it's easy to produce a book, even with the challenges of self-publishing, but actually marketing the book is where the work is and will continue to be, certainly, to stay relevant, that your book stays in the public's eye and so on. So I kind of figured it out as I went along, and I would have built a Facebook page and I've built a little brand for myself. It's called Tales from Kairi.
Yes.
So I would have chosen the name of Trinidad before it was colonized.
Yes, the Amerindian name.
Yes. So Tales from Kairi, and I have in my logo I have El Takuch because that has special meaning for me. Because my stories, my first two books, One Night by Moonlight and Seba Swept Away, are set on the north coast of Trinidad. So I wanted to capture that in my logo. So Facebook is the main way that I reach the wider public, and it being on Amazon, I would have first appealed definitely to family, both locally and abroad. And my book would have first been available on Amazon, so that would have been what I would have said initially before I printed that is available on Amazon. And then by the time it was available in local stores, just kind of pushing the social media a little bit more. So yeah, at this point I also continue to look for ways to reach the Trinidadian diaspora, because I feel it is a book that can appeal to Trinidadians abroad who want to maybe have their children, their grandchildren familiarized with what they would have had when they lived on the islands. So I'm still trying to figure that out, is what essentially it is, this how to reach the Trinidadian diaspora.
We're gonna talk after. You know, so I'm a literary publicist by trade, right? So I help authors get the visibility that they need, so that one, people know about them and their book, and consequently that will affect your book sales, right? So we'll talk about the diaspora after the show. But for right now, we're going to be going on a short break, and when we come back, Alisa is going to be reading for us from one of her books. And, well, you know, I can't wait. I love to be read to. So see you back in a few minutes. With Alisa Gomez, 3-time children's book author, and we're going to be getting a taste of her books, and she's going to be reading for us. I'm so excited. This is my favorite time of Book Club Corner, right? I don't know if you could tell. Alisa, which books will you be reading from today for us?
I'm going to do a little piece of Seba, Swept Away, and also my newest book, That Amazing Capybara. So Seba is the second book that I published, and That Amazing Capybara is the third.
Very good. So let me get comfy with my cane juice, and I'm ready.
Okay, so I'll give a little prelude to this part. Seba went off with her friend Tayo, who is an oil bird, and he would have told her not to go because she's too small. She's a very small fruit bat, but she didn't listen. And what happened was, as the title says, she got swept away in a storm, right? So this is after she's swept away. She doesn't know where she is. She woke suddenly when a rumbling engine sped past. The blast of air from the movement tossed her into the air. She flapped her wings to stay up. As she opened her eyes, she was blinded. Dazzled and disoriented, Seba flew up in alarm and hit her head on something hard. She kept flying despite the pain and made for a spot of darkness. A rustling sound to the right caught her attention. She heard snuffling. The manicure froze when she turned towards it. Seba didn't wait to see what it would do next. She flew on through the night. She stopped to get her bearings within the forest, but found nothing familiar. Not the scents, not the trees, not the sounds. There was no trace of salt in the air. Brock, Brock. Seba jumped, but didn't fly off. Where is the sea? She asked the tree frog. It blinked. I've never seen it. She felt despair. I need to get back home. Please help me. The owl will know. Look for the tallest tree and approach with caution. The owl? It was worth a try, but dawn was approaching. She would have to seek his help the following night. Seba settled under a broadleaf and slept fitfully until she was awakened by whispering. Looking up, she saw 3 small bats arguing under a leaf. Quit pushing! Give me some space! One spotted Seba and nudged the other 2. They peered at her. Hello, never seen you before, one ventured. Can you help me find the sea? Seba asked. The sea? They giggled. Sorry, never seen it. Is it nice? Wonderful. Seba was close to tears. She closed her eyes to block out their quarreling.
I'm feeling so emotional for Seba. So Seba is lost.
Yeah, and we don't know if she'll be able to find her way back home.
You have to get to the end of this book to figure it out, right? And this is one of the, this is not one of those tales your mothers and fathers have told you, right? Your friends just carry you, but don't bring you back. Seba's friend told her not to go, and Seba was too hardened. So Seba had a good friend, right? This is not, you know, a friend carrier. This friend gave her good advice, and Seba was not interested. And Seba got swept away. Yeah, I want to read the rest of that. So tell us about this one now.
So this one is That Amazing Capybara. And this story actually starts in South America. There's a little map at the beginning of the book that shows Trinidad situated around South America. Because what happens is that we start in South America, where the capybara actually comes from, and then make our way to Trinidad. So what happened was the capybara was quite notorious in South America, and then he got swept out in during a flood. So what has happened now is he fell into the river and is in full speed. He watched the river banks as they sped by. Then there were no river banks, no trees, just water in every direction. You see, the capybara lives in South America. This infamous little creature was being swept out of South America and into the Atlantic Ocean. Luckily for him, the island of Trinidad was close by and getting closer by the minute. The raft smashed onto a lip of land and the capybara scrambled off. He wasn't sure where he was. He hailed an egret that was stepping through some tall grass and inquired as to his location. Trinidad, the egret responded. This meant nothing to the capybara. He stared almost stupidly until the egret rolled his eyes and flew off. He walked through the swamp until he came upon an agouti. He asked the agouti for directions to the largest river he knew. The agouti stared at him. He hadn't understood a word. The two of them spoke incomprehensibly to each other for some minutes before the capybara realized that a different language was spoken on this piece of land. If the egret had stuck around longer, he might have told him that he had moved from a Spanish-speaking territory to an English-speaking one. The egret was bilingual, of course. Birds that travel long distances have to be.
Y'all, let me rest on the cane shoes. I heard so many themes coming through in your story. I'm getting a theme of migration. He migrated unwittingly, right, from South America to Trinidad. And we know that story very well these days. Did our regional current affairs, did that have any bearing on the story that you wrote? Or are you a prophet in the making?
No. Yeah, it would have been a reflection of what is happening locally. And just a reminder that the people who come here might not necessarily want to be here. And it's just reminding us that we have to find a way to kind of coexist, and that there are differences in languages, and it can be quite an interesting process. And I'm glad that there's a children's storybook, because at the end of the day, you can do what you want with the story. You can discuss it with your child, or you can just take it at surface level. But
yes, I really love that story of migration, that for children to discuss moving, because even as a child, you may have the opportunity. You may not feel it's an opportunity, right, to move from one area to the next. You may be going from one language to another. You may be going from one territory to another. And your story talks about how the capybara was able to adapt and bring his family here, right? Yeah. So he ended up having a whole capybara family and network, right? Which, as Caribbean people, we know how that is. When we move and go abroad, we call up everybody. So when you come in, right, because we want the whole family, we had to bring the seasoning, the juice, the everything, the curry, everything. And we moving like that, right? So I felt that capybara story so strongly. And you all have to buy that book to find out what happens to that capybara. Does he return to South America? Or does he, as I said, stay here and bring his whole kit and caboodle and his whole community to Trinidad and live here? And he seems to be a very smart, looking at him there, he doesn't have pretty colors. He isn't the biggest animal in the forest, but he is very, very adaptable. And he has some physical traits that help him get away from prey. You need to get this book, guys, for your children, for yourself. Find out World Environment Day, what these animals of Trinidad and Tobago, how they operate, what they like to eat, whether nocturnal, whether they're in the daytime, how they look. We need to find out. So we need to get these books. Before we go to break, tell us, where can we get your books?
They are available right now in a few stores. Well, the two older books, One Night by Moonlight and Seba Swept Away, are more widely available in the sense that they can be found at Metropolitan book suppliers, at paper-based Bookshop, and at Excellent Stores, which has a few locations in Trinidad. I am still working on distribution in Tobago, and I am also in a couple of small stores, kind of specialist stores. There's a little, they call themselves a whimsical store, Junkcollage, and also in Caboodle, which is another little shop. And most of these places are in Port of Spain. So this is where I was able to get my book placed and so on. So mostly in Port of Spain, and then with Excellent Stores, I was able to go a little more widely in Trinidad.
Yeah. Well, I'm from East Trinidad, right? So I know a few people in the East, and we're going to talk, because we started this conversation before, right? And we're going to get into Tobago as well, because I like when authors come here, I want to be able to say, go across by Nelson's, or go by Mansa, go by Pages, and get your book. We want to be able to get our books locally right here in Tobago, right? So you can go up quickly right after the show and grab 2-3 copies and make sure all your friends and your family get, right? But what we want to just before the break, are you on Digital Canopy? Was it you? Because I was doing research and you're not there yet. You need to be on Digital Canopy, and I put in a plug for them all the time, not because I'm working for Digital Canopy, but because I think they are a really valuable platform for authors. It's an ebook platform, and you're definitely going to get some good value. It's kind of like an Amazon, but locally. And you get paid local to your bank account, right? So there's no issue with PayPal or how we're going to get a check or whatever. Anyway, we're going to a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to be heading to the green room, where we will be answering your hot and burning questions about the publishing industry, about becoming an author, and about book marketing. Come back in a few minutes with us here.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Live more.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
We will be addressing your questions about marketing, books, publication, all of the good stuff. And we had a question into the green room, and the question was, when should I, as an author, start marketing my book? All right? And as a book marketer, I can tell you, you can never start marketing yourself or your book early enough. You should start from the moment you decide to write the book and from the moment you start to write. A lot of authors think that somebody's going to steal my work, so I should go underground. I should keep quiet. I shouldn't tell anybody. I have to hide, right? Because somebody's going to steal my idea. So they don't say anything. And by the time they finish writing, they're so tired and worn out from the process, they can't even talk properly. Right? It's really an intensive process. So I say, if you're going to really chart your way as as your own book marketer, as your own PR company, so to speak, start halfway through the process of writing to put together a map of how you're going to do this thing. Put aside as well, think about putting aside money as well for your marketing process. So your book marketing process can cost you nothing if you do all the work yourself, and it's quite a bit. It can cost you up to from $500 to $1,000, and that's on the low end. And it can go all the way up to $10,000. It really depends on your budget. I mean, it can go past that, but I put a cap on it that way so that, you could say to yourself, well, what is my target in terms of saving that money for my marketing process. So I would say save as much as you can as you're going along. Put aside, you tuck away some money in a little area, whether it's a separate bank account, whether it's in a cash band, whether it's in the back of your purse or your wallet. I don't know where you like to save your money, but start putting aside some money for that marketing process. So if you know you're 50% finished with your manuscript, you start that writing down. Okay, I'm going to join a book club. I'm going to join a library. Many of us do not have library cards. Get one immediately. I'm going to, do writing and workshops and speaking events. I'm going to get my book in the bookstores. List the bookstores you want your book in, because that's also important, a good fit for your book and the bookstore, right? If you're a writer and a publisher or an author far in the east, you're all the way in Togo, right, San Souci, you really want to look at places east, so that it's accessible for you to be going back and forth to check on your books. Because as I keep saying, a bookstore is not a bookshelf, right? You do not put your book in a bookstore and disappear, reappear 5 months later to ask them, so all you sell any of my books? Please don't do that. You have to do some marketing yourself, and while the bookstore is taking your books, you come on platforms like these, you go and you speak at podcasts, you do videos, you talk about your book, you share your book, you call the libraries, find out how many copies Nalis wants, and I'll give you a hint. Don't give away all your books to Nalis. Give some free and ask them to pay for some. So if you give them, you have 100 books because you write non-stop, right? Give them one copy free and say, Nalis, would you like to take some more copies? Nalis has about 30 or more libraries across Trinidad and Tobago. I bet you all don't even know. From prison libraries to mobile libraries, there are so many libraries across Trinidad and Tobago. Community libraries, the major public libraries, you can't even keep up. So find out from Nalis how many copies of your book they'd like to take. I'm giving 1 or 2 copies, right? And you can purchase some more copies for all the libraries you would like to put them up. Go to your alma maters, go to your schools and tell them, listen, I have a book. I would love to donate a copy or 2 to my school, your high school, your primary school. If you went to university or not, you can still go back and ask them, listen, I would love to put my book in the library, right, at the University of the West Indies or whichever university you went to. Give them a copy of your book and do a session with your university, do a session with your school. Go on Career Day and talk about being a published author and about your book. And I know a lot of persons are introverted and may be wondering, I don't think I'm able, This thing, marketing my book, telling everybody, my face all over the place. I don't know if I could do that. Start by doing flyers, stationery, standalone flyers, and you can start using those. Get yourself comfortable. Perhaps go on the radio where nobody is seeing you, right? Or you can get a feature in a newspaper. Think about all these things. I'm giving you hints. So that is how you're looking to market your book. And when should you start? As early as when you start that first, once upon a time. Obviously, you're not going to start like that for every story, but this is just an example. From the time you start that first chapter, start putting together a plan, a strategy, something that fits and suits your personality about how you can market your book. And I want to get some feedback from you, Alisa, in terms of your process. Can you lend any tips, hints to authors out there about what they can expect or what would be a good way to market their books?
Well, I have to agree with everything that you said. And I think for me, I didn't start soon enough. So when it is you are now building a social media presence after your books come out and you're slowly gaining followers and so on, you find that a lot of the content that you would have put in before, it never reached a lot of people. So then you have to get it out there again. So as I said, it's a learning experience for me in a lot of ways. So hearing people like you and getting just kind of feedback from people who have been in the industry for a while is so important for those of us who think that it's not just writing a book at the end of the day. The marketing is really the difficult part and the part that you keep working at.
Yeah. And I wanna season that word difficult with some salt, right? Because when we say difficult, I don't want to scare the writers. I don't want to scare the authors. Your job is to write. It's going to be easy. You already have the story. You just have to find that inspiration to keep it going. But, something is difficult when it is not your cup of tea. It's not your wheelhouse. But it can be, right? So I'm just putting it out there. It's going to feel like, there's a learning curve. Mm-hmm. I don't know everything. I have to get competent at marketing. Yes. But just remember that you can become competent at marketing and you don't have to learn everything all at once, right? You don't have to do everything all at once. You don't have to learn everything all at once. You can call people like me and we'll help you, right? So just putting a plug out there. If you need a book marketer, give me a call and let's help you, right? So as we wrap up, I want to thank you all for being here with us today, for tuning in again, right? As we coming back out of hiatus. We want to thank you for tuning in with us. And we want to thank Alisa Gomez, the lovely Alisa Gomez, for being here with us today with her 3 books, One Night by Moonlight, that amazing Capybara, and Seba, Swept Away. We want to thank you for being here with us with your 3 books on World Environment Day, and tuning again with us next week, Wednesday at 11 a.m. right here in beautiful Scarborough up at Tobago Updates, when we chat with this wonderful author, Daniel Francis, about his self-publishing journey and his book, and what he has created a community called the Authors Village. We want to talk with him next week, Daniel Francis, so tune in for that next week. And before we go, we want to also thank our part sponsor of the Green Room, Mansa Enterprises. Thank you so much for sponsoring the Green Room. Mansa Enterprises is a book and stationery store, and that's a new store in Calder Hall, and she loves to take local books. So I'm just sending our local authors there, as well as I'm sending our readers there. So if you're a reader and you're looking for a local book, get yourself down to Mansa Enterprise, the book and stationery store in Calder Hall. She has a wide range of local books, and we're hoping that very quickly we're going to be seeing this on the shelf at Mansa as well. So thank you very much, Mansa. And I want to also thank my good friend Neve. I can't forget Neve from Eye for Design. He is giving me a centerpiece every week. Let me tell you, this beautiful centerpiece here, Neve just brings the beauty. He brings the aesthetics. He does weddings, events. So if you need to get an event decorated, beautiful flowers, real floral arrangements, Neve does it all at Eye for Design. Thank you, Neve, for this beautiful centerpiece and for beautifying our book space. And as we wrap up, thank you guys for tuning in. Please don't stop reading. Today a reader, tomorrow a leader. And we look forward to seeing you next week with us. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter, as well as the Tobago Updates platforms, and on our YouTube channel, Book Club Corner TT, for all the episodes, season 1 and season 2 of Book Club Corner. And we'll see you next week.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.